Welcome back to the last clip in this series, Conspiracy Exposure 2020. I've got to link two things together here using these two here, metrology and numerology, and conspiracy. Now the word conspiracy or the word conspire both start with con man, convict. So when you study metrology, you're looking at components of words, suffix and what follows. So when I'm looking at these particular things, there are positives and negatives in the universe everywhere. And if you're not in a constructive direction, you're either in a decaying direction. You never stay stable. So you have to keep pumping up and holding things, because there's never a middle ground that you can say, oh, I'm balanced, I'm on the fence. Because when you're on the fence, just like in a political party, you're this way or you're that way. So here, to contain a creative, constructive life or a decaying life, you can turn a particular bunch of letters, which are just letters, that are grouped together for a particular part of a word or an entire word, and come up with a resulting number, which is a language. So those three letters equal that number. In fact, C-O-N, C-O and N is the third letter of the alphabet, the 15th letter of the alphabet, and the 14th letter of the alphabet. 3 and 5 is 8 and 4 is 12. 1, 2, 3, 32 equals 5. So 5 is the result of those three letters coming together, and each of those letters have a meaning on their own, which I talked about in a former part up here. Now I put 5 over here in the middle. So this is like the tic-tac-toe game, noughts and crosses. If I was to start here or here or here or here, anywhere in that tic-tac-toe sequence, let's just say I started here. 1, 2, 3, and following the same formula, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It doesn't matter where I start, as long as I follow the sequence, 5 will always be in the middle. 5 is the only digit, the only code that has connections physically with all others in that particular pattern. It just means it's the center of the 9 numbers. From here to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Like a lift. 5 is the center of a cycle. Cycles do this. That's your peak, that's your minimum down here. 5 and 5, they're always the same. So in nature, these particular numbers are associated with words or letters, as I do it here, but with every facet of science, every facet of cyclical movement that I explained earlier about the sun and its spin and going around the galaxy. So when I'm talking about conspire or this particular word, number 6 here, which means responsibility is a key word, can be the bully. And people often who want to get what they want in life will bully others to get that for their self-gain at the expense of somebody else. So there are positives and negatives in every person, and they make their mind up themselves how to do that or why they do it. So if I take the word con here and put 5 and says, oh, I'm a great storyteller, because it touches every other aspect of people that makes them up, the number 5 represents freedom of thinking. I can do this, I can do that, I can tell lies here, tell lies there, tell lies there. That's what 5 does. So the beginning of that says, I am free to change my will or idea at any time. Now the word spire, conspire, not conspiracy, it's another word again, but conspire means that here we have this 5 and the 4 says to plan. Plan. Plan is a 7 from memory. 7, 3, 1 and 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, 16, 7. So to plan something is to think it through, because 7 represents wisdom and knowledge. And here we have this 7 saying, I'm going to cleverly plan something for my self-gain. Because 9 equals the keyword service, as I had written earlier in my series. And service means to give from the self to other people, to give them things. What's the reverse? To take things. So when somebody is conspiring to do something, they're using a variety of means and a plan for self-gain. Therefore we have conspiracy, and when people expose conspiracy, which there is a great deal of exposure of conspiracy, they call it a conspiracy theory. It's almost like somebody said the word conspiracy theory is a bad word. You know, oh, here comes another conspiracy theory. So when we find out in the past in 9/11 in America where the towers came down, never before in the history of building, never have buildings come down without being exploded, or should I say, brought down in a controlled explosion, ever before, naturally. You could burn a building to complete shell and it'll stay standing in a metal structure, as has happened in England, the big fires over there. The buildings do not fall down. So why is it that when Tower 1 and Tower 2 came down exactly the same way, and then Tower 7, which is around the corner by about 7 or 8 blocks away or something, it was on fire for some other reason. For some other reason it was on fire. Part of the building structure, it also came down perfectly after the guy who owned the building says, pull it. Now that's been recorded and passed around the world. The information is out there. He was recorded as saying to the fire chiefs and people there, pull it. Pull it means to hit the detonators and to bring it down. That's a conspiracy. Conspiracy to defraud. To take something that was planned, it's illegal, it's criminal, it's terroristic. So when I'm looking at conspiracy exposure, what I'm looking at is, why is 2020 a year that I have put up as being double death? I'm going to take a bit of this off here and add that component to it to wind up the series. In hieroglyphs, the word for death is called Ka, K-H-A. It's depicted, excuse my artwork, by a bird which has got a beard and here, so it's literally the head of a man with a beard and the body of a bird. I think it's behind it, something like that. Now, take that off, and what we have here is the bird, and we have in front of it a black circle, like that. That is that. It's a hieroglyph. It's called Ka. Now if I was to take that letter, which is the 11th letter of the alphabet, the 8th letter and the first letter, 8 and 1 is 9, and 11 adds up to 20. Interesting that that particular word and that particular symbol here, bird and the black moon as I call it, if I was to turn it around and make that into another symbol, which is like an oil chalice burning, it's alive, it's got energy, it's light, it's illuminating. This now becomes the word Ba. Ka, Ba. I could even do it, it doesn't matter, like that, capitals. B is 2 and A is 1. Here, this means death. This means alive or birth. Now, B and A add up to 3. Ka adds up to 20 or 2. If I take the word death and go 4, 5, 1, 2 and 8, that's actually the 20th letter, so I could in fact make that 20. 4 and 5 is 9, 10, 12 and 8 is 20. But if I add that as a 20 rather than as a 2, 4 and 5 is 9, 10, 30, 20 and 10 and 20 is 30, 38. 3 and 8 equals 11, 1 and 1 is 2. So it doesn't matter which way you look at it. Ha and death, this is hieroglyph, this is English, they both have the same frequency in the long run, even though they've got different symbols. And for the life, for the breathing light that this birdman and an oil chalice represents life and burning, it's called Ba, B-A, and the word birth, 299, 2 and 8 are the values of those letters. 2 nines is 18, 20, 22 and 8 is 30. When I start to look at this particular material and I make predictions, as I did last year on the 20th of October of all days, the 20th of October, and I put up a story about this year, 2020, and I called it Double Death. Double Death. And then I said we had health, financial and international problems that this year was going to have. I told people not to buy it, to conserve their money, to watch out for things. It's a seriously bad year. Here we are in the month of April, and it is a seriously bad year. I do not know of the entire world, every country, shutting its borders down basically, having people stay in their homes over something which is so minute and small in the form of a thing called COVID-19, which I think is a conspiracy theory, because it's shut the world down, and the statistics and the numbers and the percentages of people who are dying from this is questionable, majorly so. So having that knowledge up front, I'm sitting here thinking, am I right or am I wrong? Is it just a theory? The point being, is it a conspiracy? And if it is, it's caused the world to collapse. We've stopped the financial systems moving on this planet. It has caused billions, if not trillions of dollars of damage so far, and it's still counting because we're still in lockdown. This stuff here means that I can start to look at the leaders of countries. And if I look at this word here now, this is why the science to me is so fascinating. The word lie. What does it mean when a person tells lies? Well, let's look at it. That's 3, that's 9, and that's 5. 3 and 5 is 8, and 9 is 17. 8. 8 to lie. Okay, so we start to look at things like this word. 3, 8, 9, 5, and 1. 3 and 8 is 11, and 9 is 20, 25, 26. That's interesting. We do know that there has been a lot of bullshit, and I'm going to say that word, that's come out of the CCP. China Conradian type party, what's called, and you've got Conspiracy Party if you want it. You've got CCP. Susan's won't go into that one just yet. But if we looked at China and we've got this 8 here, and then we look at payback. You've heard of karma? It's like payback's a bitch. 2, 1, 9, 4, and 1. That's an A. 2, 3, 12, 16, 17. And as I mentioned earlier, 7, 6, and 4, 17, 8. So when I get into this particular field here, I can look at people like Xi Jinping, or whatever his name is, and find out that he's head of the CCP. He's also head of their country. I'm not here to pick a fight with him. I'm not here to pick a fight with anybody. What I am doing is I'm saying that there's a way of looking at the stuff ahead of time and how to overcome something. The work that I have done with even Fauci, the guy who's working under Trump, or has been with other presidents in the past. I forget what they call themselves altogether, their group of people as they're going through. He has been there being their advisor. And as far as I'm concerned, the guy is a liar. He's also conspiring to do what he's doing. I know that the head of the World Health Organization is a Chinese man, and he has said publicly on the news media recently, not me, but publicly everywhere else, this is the month of April, he said that it's going to get worse. How was it that Fauci said last year, I think it was, that there's going to be a surprise pandemic next year? How the hell do they know this? It's because it's been put together somehow. This is where conspiracy theories come from. Until we prove it, and when we prove it, it sure is, shows where people are and what they've been doing and what they want to do. Do I believe that there's corruption out there? Absolutely. I've seen it. Do I believe that there's an ultimate idea that they want to clean up people on the planet and get rid of a lot of people? Yeah, I do. Why? Because of everything that's coming together. This 5G is a mechanism that creates conditions that look like COVID-19. Conditions that look like it. They can be contained in the same thing. when you start to put this together and use the knowledge that I have here, it's not hard to figure all of this out. I'm so glad you watched this series. I'm sorry that some parts might have been a bit long, but I think it's something that you need to see in times like this. And I'll finish off with a little story. It's a true story, and I actually have all the evidence for it at my fingertips somewhere. And I say fingertips, I probably moved it because I just moved house. I used to fly down to Christchurch, New Zealand. That's short for Christchurch. Once a month, and I did training down there for quite some time, teaching people this stuff here, including people like police. I had people in my group that were very experienced in different fields, businessmen, scientists, etc. And I would go down on a Friday, I'd teach Saturday and Sunday, and I'd fly out on a Monday. So I'd fly in to Christchurch on a Friday, and I would teach Friday night. On Saturday I'd do a full day's training, on Sunday I'd do a half a day's training, and on Monday I'd fly out. That was my pattern, that's what I was doing. One weekend came up where they had, whilst I was down there doing my training, there was another weekend coming up over here, Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Sunday, Monday, which was for a big festival. And they wanted me to speak at this festival and get up and do stuff on a whiteboard, which I do a lot of. And that was Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. So I said to my wife, look, I tell you what, there are 3 days in the middle here, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. I'll stay down there for the length of that time. So I bought ticket number 1 to fly in on a Friday. I bought ticket number 2 to fly out on the following Monday, because I would easily fill up the gap in the middle with people who want to see me relating to that. And a little bit of time went by and I thought I better check things. I checked my own patterns on my own graphics. And what I saw in here was death. Just death. And I went, holy crap, what's this? So I then checked my wife's numbers, and her numbers read that as well, but she wasn't going down, but there was death in her life. And then I checked out Christchurch's numbers, and it had death in its pattern. Christchurch having death? Yeah. You see, humans named Christchurch, and it was given 2 dates of its name being formally recognised. The townspeople called it Christchurch on a specific date, and then by the time the ships took it back to England, had it processed by the Queen or the King, it came back to New Zealand, and they formally said, yes, you can call it Christchurch. That was 12 years later, a hell of a long time. So Christchurch has a birth date and a name. And when I assessed that all together, I said I don't like this, so I bought another ticket number 3 and ticket number 4. That I would fly in on Friday, fly out on Monday, fly back on Friday, and fly out on Monday. I flew out Monday, the 21st of February. On the 22nd of February, the entire city was hit with an earthquake and the buildings came down, and the ones that I was in, the buildings that I was in, with my friends down there, made of bricks, turned to rubble, the whole city. I saved my own life by not being there, by looking ahead into the future and seeing danger at a particular time. So, if you're going to get run over by a bus on a particular day, don't go on the road, and the bus will go by and you didn't get hurt. Same timing, you're still alive, but you weren't in a position of danger. With the work that I do, I'm able to see danger ahead and give people advice about what to do. Financial danger, health danger, relationship danger, food danger, doing something with their company or other staff or people danger. They're all danger. And like your body has a system, when your body is infected with toxins, any danger, you get a thing called exosomes. Exosomes come out of the cells, capture the problem, take it to the system that cleans it all up, your immune system, and it expresses it out the lungs, coughing, sneezing, whatever. And that is done in a particular way. We call it COVID-19 now. It could be influenza, but we'll call it COVID-19. The person could have heart condition and therefore they're getting a weakened body with lots of toxins and they get gunk in their lungs, and we'll call it COVID-19. It's not COVID-19. In my view, COVID-19 is a false flag.